Hello everyone. How are you doing? It's me, Olaf Bello from Volt Albania, and I hope you are doing fine. I welcome you all at our today's live, and we are going to talk about a Eurosense. I would like to present to you Lucia Nass, member of the board of Volt Europa, and also a Eurosense maker. So, Lucia, please present yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much, Olaf. As you said, I'm elected to the board of Volt Europa, and I'm also working with Albania team, who are doing fabulous in their development. So very happy with that. I've been with Volt for over 5 years now. I joined before the previous European Parliament elections, and so at first I was very active in community, and today, as I said already, I'm in the European board.
Amazing. And also, the next guest for today's live will be Marina Rrika. Hello, Marina. How are you doing? Present yourself.
Hello, Olaf. Hello, Lucia. It's nice to have you here, Lucia, tonight. And hello, everyone. As you know, I'm a new member in Volt and a new member in the academic lead now, and having lives with Olaf. So thank you for inviting me to be here, and I'm so happy also to talk tonight about this interesting topic with Lucia.
Yes, amazing. And overall, welcome everyone to the Open Day of Volt Albania, our digital Open Day, basically. And the idea of today's basically digital evening we have is a lot of events. We have had until now Eurosense training. We've also planned to do a live before this, and also we have our interview with Lucia Nass. And in general, welcome to our second event today. So this is the current plan, and we are going to start now. And for about 30 minutes, we are going to discuss what is Eurosense, because we have here Lucia Nass, and she's going to tell us about the Eurosense project in general, and the interviewer, Marina Rrika, will be here to basically ask some questions, also because Marina is quite new, and it's a good way to actually learn something from this live and today in general the project. And then we are going to open up some questions from the audience at the end. And apart from that, I would like to thank the Eurosense team and Lucia Nass for allowing us to do this interview. And let's hope to do great in general, and let's have a good live. So, Marina, would you like to start?
Yeah, thank you, Olaf. I'm so interested to know what is Eurosense. I think there are a lot of people who don't know yet what is Eurosense. So, of course, the first question I would do to Lucia is, what is Eurosense?
Yeah. Thank you, Marina. Eurosense is something very interesting. It's an innovation in democracy. So in democracy, what we're after is that people participate, people share their stories with the rest of us so that we can know what's happening in their life and how politics might make that better, right? So that's simply put. So with Eurosense, we try to make an innovation into democracy, into our democracy, by collecting stories for Europe. Oh, I'm going too fast. So basically, I think if you can make the slide a little bit bigger, that would help me to read it. Yeah, thank you. So basically, Eurosense is about collecting stories for Europe, so all across Europe, and Volt is the only way that really can do that all over Europe, right? Because we are present in 30 countries already. So we would like our Volters, their their friends, their NGO partners, their activist partners, their human rights activists, but also politicians. It's a chance for all of us to be directly in touch with what people feel is happening in their lives that might be important for politics, right? So it's really listening. This is about listening to people. And the good thing about listening is if you do it in the right way, it changes people and it opens them up. So you know how these days we have so much polarization and opinions, and people are almost unable to listen to each other. So we've found, and research shows, if you deeply listen to people, they open up. They are more eager to listen to the stories of others as well, but they need to be listened to first. So that's what we do with Eurosense. It's a way for us, for the Volt movement, but also civil society more widely, to connect and listen to what's happening with citizens, so that we can overcome polarization. And also, you know, these days how people have opinions straight away. I don't know if that's the same in Albania, but we see across immediately people say, oh, immigrants this, or oh, you know, this or that. The thing is that if you ask people about what's happening in their life, it becomes about them. And then maybe, you know, do they really have experiences with immigrants? Perhaps not. Perhaps it's hearsay, or perhaps. So we also look for the evidence base in this. Okay. So what it is, it's like a big science project with every citizen participating being like a scientist, right? So with Eurosense, we empower citizens across Europe to become change makers, and together make sense of all these stories that we are sharing. And these days that's possible. We can collect, you know, hundreds of thousands of stories and still see patterns, and make sense of these patterns so that we come to action. So the idea of Eurosense is not just the stories per se and looking at what they are about and trying to find patterns, but the idea is to come to action, local action, to say like, okay, but if this is happening, then what can we do today to make a small change in our own community and our own environment? So it's really an action-oriented, some people call it, it's an action research method. So yeah, maybe we can go to the next question.
All what you said, of course, it makes me ask, what is the story of Eurosense? Why you created Eurosense?
Right.
Who was the founder of Eurosense?
Right. How did it come about? Okay. So in my work, I've worked internationally in Africa and Asia for a long time with complex change, large-scale change programs in democracy, citizen participation, and local government, with local governments. And in this work, because in many very often today, things are very unpredictable. There's complexity, there's a lot of chaos. We have climate change, we had the financial crisis in 2008, etc. So what we are finding is that the old methods that we always trusted, methods like 5-year plans, we make a plan for 5 years and then we implement it, is no longer adequate or even possible because so many things happen in the meantime. So I have in my work already for many, many years, because I've worked in very complex, chaotic environments with a lot of poverty in Africa and Asia. And a lot of chaos, worked with the Kinefin framework. And this is a framework that helps you to act and to intervene, even though things are very complex and chaotic, to still make progress in complexity. So the beginning of last year, there was a Volter, his name is Roberto Bonini. He is Italian, but he started Volt in Switzerland. He shared this research with me from an institute in Germany, that talked about societal trauma and democracy, they used the same Kinefin framework that I'm familiar with in my work, but they used it with the SenseMaker tool. So this was an online tool that can handle a lot of data, a lot of qualitative stories, and show patterns. And I found it wonderful, this research, because it showed things that I could never visualize. It could show me through this tool. So I was super excited. Roberto brought me in touch with the Kinefin company, the people behind the SenseMaker tool. And they shared a citizen science network paper. And this is what we are trying to do with Eurosense. We are trying to build a network of citizen scientists so that we have an evidence base from all our experiences in Europe. It's like taking the temperature of European citizens, right? What's up? And trying to act in that. So I was super excited, and then the people from IFIS, this institute in Germany, they said, "Oh, but if you're excited about it, there is a small grant." So there was a grant with the EU. It's an accelerator fund, so it is there to help with startup initiatives, and then we got 20,000 euro from them for a 6-month project. So that just finished recently in January. And, so we've already collected 600 stories, and we have developed a training program that we're offering now to make sure that more and more countries can join, more and more people in civil society who are interested can join us, can get training, and can carry this network together with us to keep collecting stories and bring them to human rights activists, to politicians at all levels. So we are now applying for a larger grant, a much larger grant, we try, so that we can do this big. And for those who have access to the slides later, there is a little report which talks about our first 6 months experience and an impact assessment report. So that's sort of the start, I guess, of the history of Eurosense. So it's very recent. It's just a year old, and we're just starting.
Recently, but quite big. So you're saying that more and more countries are involving. So how does it work? People do this training online, physically? How Eurosense is working?
Yeah. It can actually. It's very good to do it physically, but you can also fill it in online. So I mentioned this citizen journalism. So basically, the way it works best, because then you get really good quality stories, and not only that, you're also there. If it's like an interview, like you're a journalist and you use the Eurosense collector, which is it looks a bit like a survey, but it's not really a survey, right? It's a new tool that nobody's ever seen before. But so you interview the person with this tool, and the person can tell their story, and then they are asked to interpret the story. And this is unique because normally this interpretation is done by researchers. But researchers don't know your life, right? How can they interpret your story? So this is one of the innovations, is that citizens become scientists. So you share your story and you interpret it like a researcher. And the tool, the SenseMaker tool, helps you to do that. And then once you have collected a nice number of stories, like we have 600 stories now, then we can gather with a group of citizens, and perhaps some of these citizens have taken part have shared a story, but it's not necessary. You can do this with anyone, over 600 stories indeed. You make sense of the patterns you see, and later I can show you what that means, patterns. But you see these little triangles in the app,
in the screen of
so
picture.
So little dots start appearing. Each dot is a story, so you can see like clusters of stories emerging, and then say, okay, so everyone's on this side, or hey, there's two groups, one group of stories is here, another one here. What does it mean for us? You can talk about it, and you can read the stories that you're interested in after you filtered a little bit.
That's nice.
Yeah, I think it's really
Yeah.
nice. So who are the actors? Who's involved? So, you know, anyone who wants to be a citizen journalist and collect stories, citizens themselves who want to share their story, they can also do it online. We can show later on the website. People who want to be in a censor community. So this is a group of people who say, okay, we don't just want to collect stories, but we also want to make sense of these stories and take action that is meaningful for us locally and that makes a difference for human rights or for, you know, whatever is important to people. And then the third thing is the sensor network. So that is all these communities that do sense making. They come together, they exchange, and they learn. So imagine that you have many communities across Europe. They all do little actions, like maybe one, they have found a solution to dealing with waste problems in your house. What can you do with waste that is more productive than just throw it in the bin, right? So maybe there's a group. There was this story that they started giving their waste to chickens, and it was then you have fresh eggs every day, and it doesn't cost you anything. So this went viral. So it happened in one community, then they started sharing it in the network, and now it's in many communities. This is becoming a practice. So just a simple example to show you how these local actions can go viral and can change at scale because of the network. So then last thing I want to say, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was reading your presentation about dashboard users, that because I had a question later.
Okay, you can already ask the question if you like.
And yeah, I wanted to ask you because according what you were saying about Eurosense, who can be part of it? For example, me from Albania, can I be part of it, or someone else from Kosovo can be part of it?
Yeah,
I don't know, someone from Canada can be part of it.
Yeah. Everyone can be part of it. So this is not just for Volt communities. That is why we called it Eurosense, and the brand is not for Volt, because we want it to be open to anyone in civil society. So you know, in Volt we are quite activist, so other activists can join us, human rights defenders can join us, NGOs can join us. Whoever thinks that, oh, I want to help collect stories, because we need a lot of stories, we need a lot of diverse stories. So maybe Volt is in their own bubble, but if we work with other NGOs, maybe we can reach more people, right? So we want all Europeans to be part of it, and as many people in the network and in the sensor community, so that we can collect as many stories as possible and work together to study the stories and find action. But also politicians at different levels can also take part. So they can take an interest in the stories. And so in a way, the Eurosense, because it's the voices of citizens coming up, and we always say it's so difficult for politicians to be close to citizens, right? But with this, you have citizen voices, and immediately politicians can directly access these stories, can directly access the voices that they want to hear and that they normally don't hear. So it's really bridging the gap as well between citizens and politicians, even until up to the European Parliament.
That's amazing. I did this question because usually people, when they see the word Euro or Eurosense in this case, they think that this is only for European Union citizens. And most of the time when we make an application or want to be part of something, there are like some criteria for European Union citizens and for non-European Union citizens. So thank you. You are really clear. Thank you. That's amazing.
Anyone can join, and you will see later. If I encourage everyone who's listening now, and you too, because I think you didn't fill the SenseMaker yet, so I encourage you to share your story and do the interpretation process.
I will do immediately. Yes, I will
Yeah,
do
yeah.
immediately after we finish this live. We will do
Exciting.
immediately.
And then
Yeah.
and then you will see that towards the end we ask a few demographic questions, like are you a man, a woman, or diverse, or you don't want to share, is also fine. We ask your age bracket, and we ask, where was your experience, the experience that you shared, where did it happen? So that one, for instance, I am from the Netherlands, but I live in France, so my experiences now are in France. So I will say in France. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your nationality. It doesn't matter if you're from Europe or not, as long as you share a story and you fill where that story happened. So you have all the European countries are there, and you can also fill in other. So if something happened outside of Europe, you can also fill it, and we will know that. By the way, completely anonymous. We cannot trace, we do not keep any information about other than what I've just said. We don't know who filled in the questionnaire. We don't keep track of any of your information. So once you have agreed to share your story and upload it, it will be there, and we won't be able to take it off again. So it's completely anonymous. Yeah.
Okay. Good. I already did maybe the same question, but so just now tell us, how can we join?
Yeah, so I've only now mentioned how you can share your story, right? But
Yeah,
if you remember, then there's also the sensor communities, the network, there are events. So we offer training. It's not one training, it's a series of trainings, because to understand really how it works, and work well with the sense making, and come to collective action, there are different steps to take, right? So in the training, it's a series of training, and we take step by step. So first you learn about how do you collect a good story. Then you learn about let me see. Oh yeah, how do I reach out to different people to collect stories? Then how do I bring people together to do a sense making of all the stories? And then, how do I share the most interesting things in the network, things like that, right? So you can get in touch with us if you are the website. We will show you maybe in a minute. If you are with Volt, you can. There is a workplace group. I've linked it here. So if you are already with Volt, you have access to workplace. You can go there. We are also on LinkedIn, so you can follow us on LinkedIn, or you can send us an email like, hey, I'm interested to do something with Eurosense, and the email address is voltsense@volteuropa.org. Okay. And then the next event, which is an introduction, that it's a bit more thorough than I'm doing now, because we have 15 minutes, but this one will be half an hour. So it's a bit more thorough introduction, will be on the 12th of February in the evening.
Thank you for sharing all this information. It's really needed.
Yeah,
I think it's really needed. I will ask another question.
Yeah.
For example, for those who are skeptical, and even though that you explained quite clear the goal of Eurosense, but for those who are like skeptical and ask, why do I have to join, or what feedback will I have, or something like that?
Yeah. No, I think I meet quite a few people these days who don't believe in politics anymore. They say, like, the politicians are not doing anything for us. And I think to some extent that's right. There are groups of people who are not benefiting enough from politics. So this is why it's so important. If we don't hear your experiences in life, if politicians don't hear the experiences in your life, things that are happening to you, then they cannot take that into account, right? And I think the reason why politicians do not make the best decisions at times is because they're not tuned in to what's really happening with people's lives, and the distance is just too big. The other thing is, I mentioned this in the beginning, but I'm going to repeat it. So much is changing at the same time at the moment in Europe and across the world at the same time. Everything is moving and changing, and the way we know how to do things is no longer working. So if we want to keep moving forward, we have to be able to organize with Europeans and listen to each other. How do we do that? We can't unless we use a tool that everyone joins in, that we are all in one place, like one big marketplace where we can all share our story and all be heard and be helped with these visualizations to find, what people are experiencing. So I think this is really critical for our democracy. Our democracy is suffering and we need to innovate. And I really believe that this can make a huge difference.
Actually, I believe that sometimes practice is better than learning or studying in theory.
Yeah.
And in this case, I think it's more beneficial for those who maybe have been just studying about politics in Europe, or they haven't been traveling a lot and they don't have enough information. So in this way, they know that maybe the same situation as in their country is in the same in other countries.
Exactly.
So, or for those who are complaining about their countries, they now can know that also in other countries the same problem.
Exactly.
And that's really good, because so when you see an experience like face to face is different. Because as you know, today we have a lot of disinformation, and maybe we hear something else in the media, but actually it's happening something else. So that's what I see really good and beneficial in this case with Eurosense.
Yeah, I think you're right, because this is about people's own real experiences, right? It's not hearsay. It's not, it's something you can check it. You put it there. It's because it happened to you, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Lucia.
Welcome. So I don't know, Olaf, should we show people the website so that they know how to find, how to share their story?
Yes, I think it's actually a pretty good idea. I will. I've also shared it in the actual chat. So basically, said here Eurosense .eu, and Emmy actually gave me a second to present it, and because it's very useful, so that you can actually see how you can
How
actually
it
join.
looks like. Yeah. So you can go straight to the button on the top, share your story.
Yes.
You see it?
I need to share the screen, so should be
Exactly.
correct now.
And then what happens is that the sense maker is opening up, and it says, okay, we want to make democracy more inclusive and hear all voices. You read it, and then if you agree, you click, and then you enter it.
Yes, so I understand, agree to take part.
I agree, let me take part, and then you click the blue arrow. And here you can immediately describe your story. Yeah, done a live stream today for the Eurosense, right? And you can fill it in later. So you give a little title, Eurosense training, yeah, and then you select. You can select sectors that are relevant to this, to your
For
story. Up to
example,
3.
living
Up to
together in
3.
community.
Yeah. For instance, yeah. So you can select up to 3. Then you say, in general, the experience was it very positive, negative, or I don't know. Okay, very positive. And here now comes the interpretation you're giving. So in your experience of this training, what matters most are values and traditions, or change and innovation. And sometimes it's not like, sometimes you are, it's not always left or right. Sometimes both apply, or sometimes it's a little bit more this or a little bit, and sometimes it doesn't apply. Then you just say NA, not applying, not applicable, right? So
Mhm.
and then you get to the triangles, and then you say, okay, the experience relates to the past, the present, or the future. And maybe both can apply, or all 3 can apply. So you move the dot around. Right. Okay, your country and Europe. Yeah. Democracy shows up as
Marina, where should I put the triangle?
yeah, it's up
Ah,
to you. You want to take action, or you want politicians to take action?
action
You want to be left alone.
in the present, please, in the present,
In the present.
always in the present.
Want to take action. Yeah.
Action in the present.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I love the fact it has visual images.
Yes, it's very
like
visual.
games.
So yeah,
I
and
love
then
this fact because the images put you like kind of traveling in your mind.
yeah,
And
exactly.
when
And
you
now
are
look
happy,
here,
you start to.
super interesting. So here you are asked to, okay, so in this picture, in the story, you are like which person here, and others are like which persons here. So you can look at the picture and who are you, and you put a dot on one of the persons that represent you. So imagine that you've had a terrible experience and you're crying, but I hope not with this session. But yeah, maybe you're behind the bridge saying, yeah, happy. And then the other people, where are they? The others, maybe they're still polarized and angry and shouting at each other or whatever. It's so you can, and each of these things help us to find patterns in the story, so we can find all the stories that have very negative experience. And for instance, if we look at the 600 stories now with the negative experiences, we see a lot of people that have negative experience want politicians to take action, which is very interesting. So the experience is bad, they don't feel they can do anything. So that's important knowledge, so we can look at these kind of things. And this, you don't have to fill these, you can, but you don't have to. And then there are some demographic questions towards the end. Who should hear your story? Everyone in Albania. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just setting up
Yeah,
some.
you're just doing it very quickly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we're running a bit over time, Olaf. Is that okay?
Yes, I think so. I don't still see any questions, so it should be fine. For example, we can also like hear the experience you described was should we make it a one-time occurrence or somewhat common, rare, but it happens from time to time?
I think it's a bit rare still, but it happens from time to time. I'm doing it from time to time, but it's your story, Olaf.
Oh, I see some problems. Where
My
is Albania?
from. So where are you?
Well, I'm in Germany now, but I don't
Okay.
see Albania. But for
Germany
example,
is
we'll
there.
put it from Germany for the moment.
Yeah.
For example, identify as a male. And then there's like some other demographical data, for example, here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, you like consent.
You consent and then you submit. So so that's it, and you can take as long as you wish. And the interesting thing is, if you do this in an interview mode, it can take maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, and you really go in depth and you help people to talk a bit. And so that also helps you to learn about the experience and lives of others. So it's super interesting. Our co-president, Francesca Romana D'Antuono, from Italy. She does this regularly because she loves listening to people, and we've discovered that people really want to talk. People want to share. People want to talk. So yeah, I encourage everyone to help us collect more stories. Anyone can do it, and if you want to learn how to do the sense making and work with the dashboard, then come join the training.
I will definitely do, because I love to talk, so and to tell.
You like to listen, though.
So also Francesca will hear me.
Yeah, very good. Well, thank you. I hope it was interesting.
It
That's
was
a
quite
dashboard.
interesting. It was
Yeah.
quite interesting, yes.
Nice.
For me, it was quite interesting, to be honest. I love to hear about something new for innovation.
Yeah.
So this is kind of innovation for citizens, because it's for all people around the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's making a change.
Yeah, and
As
it's
people can be
available
heard everywhere, it's a change.
Yeah, and it's available in all the 17 languages of Europe. So you can find the Albanian version there. So if you want your uncle or your auntie or your brother, even if they don't speak English, they can still fill it in.
Nice. Any more questions, Olaf?
So I don't see any question from the chat. So if you have any more questions, we are here for you.
I did a lot of questions, and I don't think I have more, because also Lucia was clear, and she shared with us all the information needed. For anything else, everyone can go in the website that Lucia shared with us, and I think they will find all the information also needed.
Maybe you could also share Echo, Lucia, where this is also a Eurosense training. It's also the platform, which is like an external platform.
It's not yet completely ready, but we're developing it. Yeah.
Yeah, this also, yes, for the people also listening, this Echo, which is another platform, which, if I'm not mistaken, is also financed by Volt, or is that wrong? Yeah, and this is basically a training platform with some information and news in it, and it's also a Eurosense training for people which are interested more into the topic, which is in general a good way to focus more on Eurosense and learn how to gather stories.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I don't see any more questions, and I think that the presentation was quite clear. So I
yes. So
say
also when the project Echo will be ready, can do another live and explain.
Yeah, good idea.
For people.
That would be nice.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that we are at the end of our live stream, and I would like to thank everyone for being here once again, especially Lucia Nass, one of the Eurosense makers and executive board of Volt Europa, and also Marina, Rrika from the Albanian team, and in general, thank you for all the viewers and Eurosense for having us basically interview you and advertise some of the trainings and events from Eurosense. And if there are any more questions, please contact us at info@albania.org, or you can also contact Eurosense. Now you've got all the information that you need. I would like to ask our guests a closing statement like a very short sentence or word to end up the meeting.
Right. So thank you very much for having me, and I hope I've excited everyone to at least share your story, and hopefully help us to collect more stories from the people around you. The more diverse, the better. Thank you.
Olaf, thank you again for having another live together. And I really enjoyed this this live and this chat and all this information we had tonight. I really enjoyed. So thank you, and so can't wait to see each other in other lives and talk about different topics.
Thank you.
Yeah, as I said, thank you, you both, and I hope that we will have more lives, especially when we have more information, and also a bit of information for our Albanian viewers. You can find all the informations into our WhatsApp community and into our Instagram and social medias. If you have any questions, you can also directly write in there. And also, we have some very exciting news, especially from the European Academy for our members. So just a quick reminder to everyone, apart from Eurosense, which is open to everyone, members of Volt Europe in general. And if you become a member of Volt Albania, you become a member of Volt Europa too. You also get access to other kinds of trainings. We got today the Eurosense training as an open one, but we also have more internal trainings like Velocity, Ramp for Volt, European Knowledge Up. Those are all names that you can find into our social medias, websites, and in general into our info channels. So apart from that, thank you a lot, and I really have enjoyed this live, and I hope to see you soon, Lucia, and let's hope to see each other into the next live. And in general, let's fight for a more innovative Albania and a more innovative Europe together.
Yeah.
See you, and Nati and Mia.
Thank you.
Bye, Marina. Bye, Olaf.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you.